Do you like islands, geography, penguins, volcanoes, shipwrecks, and petty British writers? Then you might just want to learn a little about Tristan da Cunha. Tristan is the remotest inhabited place on the planet Earth. It's a big volcano with a tiny town. Everyone lives in the settlement. Tristan is in the South Atlantic Ocean, over 1,500 miles from Cape Town, over 1,300 miles from St. Helena, and over 2,000 miles from the Falkland Islands. There it is, a lonely little island rising from the ocean. Tristan is part of an archipelago. It's pretty close to its neighbors, Inaccessible and Nightingale Island, and a little ways away from Gough Island. Birds and whatnot live throughout the archipelago. People live on Tristan. Britain annexed Tristan in 1816 while Napoleon was exiled on St. Helena. But remember that St. Helena is 1,343 miles away. Before the Suez Canal, Tristan was in the path boats would take around Africa, but they are dangerous waters. Who lives there? They are descendants of William Glass and people who were shipwrecked and came from St. Helena and other places. Most of the current population shares 15 settlers as their common ancestors and shares 7 surnames that came from those 15. It's a very small gene pool. It was a big deal when Prince Alfred visited in 1867. That's when they named the settlement. You get it. Prince Philip visited in 1957, and the big volcano? It erupted in 1961. The population had to evacuate, and luckily, a ship was in the area to take them to South Africa. Then they were relocated to Britain. But people still live on Tristan. The people had previously refused an evacuation in 1907 when Britain didn't want to deal with them anymore. After the volcano evacuation, almost everybody went home as soon as possible. For a long time, they just traded potatoes for stuff. Here are the potato patches. But they can't make and grow everything they need, so they sell postage stamps to philatelists, they have a rock lobster factory, and they have opened their town to tourists. Boats come from Cape Town about 8 times a year. It's at least a 6-day boat trip, and then the weather has to be right in order to anchor offshore and send smaller boats to bring people and things between the harbor and the ship. Other than the people who live and work there, it's mostly scientists and competitive travelers. Gough and Inaccessible Islands are a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The islands have lots of endemic species, mostly birds and plants, and it's a great place to study because it's a mostly undisturbed ecosystem. Relatively, of course. In 2011, a shipwreck spilled oil at Nightingale Island, and they brought all the penguins to Tristan to clean them up. Plenty of competitive travelers want to visit the remotest island. They see the sign and visit the potato patches. Simon Winchester first went to Tristan when he was writing a book on the outposts of the British Empire. He had read the journal of a sailor who was once shipwrecked there, and so Simon went digging for gossip. And the people involved were like, "Don't tell this story, please." And then he did anyway. They have several connections to the rest of the world, including mail by boat, radio, a few channels of British TV, and enough internet to post an exhaustively informative website with island history and science and birds and boats and birth announcements and pictures of parties at Prince Philip Hall. If you want to read more, the internet and outer library loan are your friends.